Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Blu-ray edition of Disney and Pixar's Onward. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I'll put a link for that in the description. All right, Onward is here, and we're going to go over the picture quality and the audio in just a few moments. But before we do that, I do want to talk about the movie itself. Now, I'm a big Pixar fan, big Disney fan, and I feel that they're, based off of Toy Story 4, which I still had issues with, but I think it was like still a beautifully made movie, and I recently went back to it, and it's growing on me. It is, and I kind of have the feeling that Onward is one of those. It's really. It didn't complete. I know it was going for that emotional punch and that Pixar is famous for, but I feel that it just didn't quite land with me. I don't know if, and it's weird because we all have we all have our father issues and everything like that, but for some reason this one it didn't quite get me there. I think it was more or less just kind of the world they inhabited was not very committal to the magic fantasy setting. It was just kind of like they wanted to kind of humanize and put a more realistic spin on it, but then I feel it kind of got lost there. I think they probably should have committed to one aspect more than the other, but as it is, it's still enjoyable. Still has some good parts. I do enjoy Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. I think they're great in their roles, and I think the other supporting characters are okay. A little bit on the weak side, but for the most part, it's still like a very enjoyable movie, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. I'll definitely be going back to it. So, all right, enough about that. Let's talk about the picture quality and audio in just a moment, but first, let's do a quick unboxing. Okay, we have the 4K edition of Onward here, which per the recent releases by Disney does not include a slipcover. There is a Steelbook edition, which was not available when I went to pick up, and there is also a Target edition, which has kind of a slipcover-esque cover to it, but you pay extra for it. So just went with the standard 4K for this one. And then we have the back cover, and then the spine, and an interior. We have some artwork. So that is it for the unboxing. Now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. According to the specs I could find, Onward on 4K is going to be a 4K digital intermediate. So it is going to be native 4K, and it supports an HDR10 grading. Now, as far as the overall picture quality goes, I think when I compared it over to Toy Story 4, the recent release of Pixar, I feel that the picture overall looks a little bit soft as far as the animation style. I think it's more or less the animation style, but as it's rendered over onto 4K, I think it looks great. I think it looks spectacular. I think black levels are actually really, really nice. They're very nice, deep, just kind of inky blacks, and I think the contrast to gelatinous cube scene really just shines, and it looks fantastic in that respect. Overall color is good. It's got some colorful aspects to it, from the fire scenes over at the tavern to just the magical, any kind of magic being conducted. It's very colorful, gives you that nice little pop to it, and the overall texture as far as detail goes looks good. It looks really good. A little bit on the cartoony side in some scenes and some aspects, but then it kind of goes a little touches on that photorealism a little bit more in some others. It's not a very consistent overall animation style. So it really it's just kind of one of those things that you really have to just be aware of and know that you're not going to have a consistent, whereas like over on Toy Story 4, I know I keep using that as an example, it's very consistent style. Over on Onward, it kind of blends a little bit of that together, and I think it's just a little bit distracting, but I think overall it's a very nice looking image, and I think you're going to be very pleased here with the picture quality on the 4K. As far as the audio goes, we're given a Dolby Atmos mix, and this is per Disney's usual standards. It's mixed a little bit on the low side, so it's not going to have that punchiness to it. It's not to say it lacks any kind of bass, but it does on the overall sense of the audio. It just lacks strength to it. But there are some nice, very nice dynamic moments sprinkled throughout the Atmos. Your center channel's dialogue comes through clear, easy to understand. The characters, the fronts do their job. They do a lot of the heavy lifting, and I think they do a very good job in that regard. As far as the mid-level speakers, the rears, there's quite a bit of ambience, a bit of action. It's pretty spread throughout the film. It's pretty constant, so you're going to have a lot of action going on in those speakers. As far as the height speakers go, yeah, they're used quite a bit, and there's a couple instances where the Manticore is flying around, and you get a little bit of that above kind of wind blowing around in the wingspan. And just so examples like that are where the height speakers really come into play. It's a very good overall audio mix. It's just lacks that little bit of oomph that, you know, we would expect a kind of a good, you know, animated film to have, you know, where it's just a little bit stronger, like, you know, over on How to Train Your Dragon. So my overall scores, I'm going to go ahead and give the picture quality, I'm going to give that a solid A. I think it's very good. A little inconsistent here and there with the style of animation. It's not, you know, I would say on the exact level as, let's say, Toy Story 4 again, but it's very strong, and I think it's very good overall presentation. As far as the Dolby Atmos audio mix, I'm going to give that one a B+. I think just the overall strength behind it just kind of weakens it. But it's very dynamic. It has quite a bit of range, and I think your overall experience, I think it'll be very pleasing if you have a home theater setup. So that is my review of Onward on 4K. Let me know in the comments below if you had a chance to pick it up, and which version did you pick up. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.